Hello and welcome to a brand new Five Heart podcast live on a Thursday night. Excited to be here with you all. We have a packed house. I'm your host here, Greg Mahachko, our founder, our fearless leader, and by request, rocking his Monday night robe, which is better than his Thursday night robe.
It is.
Which is a life-size replica of his birthday suit, I've been told. So we're appreciative for the Monday night robe. John Sam Johnston. Hello, sir.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. By God, I'm great. You know, Nebraska baseball is going on right now, up 6-1, top of the 8th against Grand Canyon. There you go. Are you going to these games, Minnie?
I'm going tomorrow.
Yeah,
so excited.
Take photos.
She's clearly not at the game right now, John.
Obviously.
So, and of course, right there, Minnie Hunt. Hello, Minnie. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm great. 75 degrees down here.
It touched 70 degrees here in Illinois today.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's
Humidity?
36. I mean, in Minnesota terms, that might as well be 70 degrees. It's usually about 0 here. So, you know, the earth it's just dying right in front of us.
I disagree.
Okay.
We'll be fine.
I kind of think this is what our average temperatures are for February. So I don't think we're dying just yet. Who said
not here.
There's 80. Paul Dalen said it's 85 degrees where he is.
I think he's in South Texas.
Oh, yeah, that's hot.
He also said this. Should I take that one, Greg? Should we take that one right away?
Sure.
Just boom, ba-doom. Huh?
Go for it.
Okay. Paul Dalen also says, all in all, NU, Nebraska University of Nebraska sports seems like they are on an upswing. You know, they do. They do. Is that because we hit the depths of everything 2 years ago? 1 year ago?
Well, that's the funny thing about it is when you hit rock bottom, you can only go up. And I'm not going to say that men's basketball was rock bottom 2 years ago. I don't think they were.
Yeah, they were.
Okay, really?
Yeah, they were pretty. I mean, with all the hope you had with Fred Hoiberg coming in, and I think, you know, what you thought of what was going to happen in the early years he was here, I think that's pretty rock bottomy. I mean, let's face it, it's Nebraska basketball, it's men's basketball. Even when our good years were good, they weren't that great. So, you know, it's just like one flat,
right? But it didn't
bad
sink
economy.
It didn't sink to the depths. You know, like they weren't like a 5-win team or something like that. I mean, they're managing 12, 15 wins, just not the amount of impressive victories that they've had this year. I was, and I don't know, probably saw this link in our Slack talking about Nebraska's resume. Obviously, number 1, Purdue. Was it number 6? I think Wisconsin. They had the winner early on against Michigan State, Kansas State. You know, they took Illinois to overtime on the road. Last night, they finally got their first road victory of the season in Bloomington, which is traditionally a pretty tough place to play. Which we'll talk about all that. And, you know, I mean, like this, is this the year? Like, look, this is not the year that Nebraska will win the national championship in men's basketball, but it could be the year that we get that first tournament win, which is the same
championship
thing. Right. It's the
Come
same.
on. I mean, it's been over 100 years and nobody's cracked that egg yet. So this would be a good, thing. It would be a good thing. I'm not going to talk about it very much.
Okay.
It scares me.
John, just a little back history. How long has Nebraska had a men's basketball team?
Since 1645. I don't know. I don't know basketball history that well, but I mean, it's been, when does basketball get invented? Like in 1880 or something? Supposedly by James Naismith.
First season was 1897.
So it's been what, 130 years, 100 some fucking
Take
years.
years.
Would
I
you
mean,
believe me if I told you that Nebraska has a winning record all time?
teams. What?
I said, would you believe me if I told you that Nebraska men's basketball had a winning record all time?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
According to the internet, take it with a grain of salt. 1,535 wins, 1,417 losses. So,
Yay!
Pretty even. We're on the
just
upswing.
500.
Yeah.
To use Paul's words, we are on the upswing. So that's going to just get better from there.
Illinois lost to Penn State. 45
No.
seconds left in the game. Illinois is up by 7 and they have the ball and they lose. And that is kind of the epitome of losing on the road. Penn State usually plays in, what is it, Jordan Bryce?
Yeah, I think so.
And then they played this game in Rec Hall, which is really small, old, old arena, whatever. And I saw somebody on Twitter today bitching about the fact they switched an Illinois fan bitching that they switched the game to Rec Hall and they should be forced to play it in the other one.
Well, Illinois fans complain about a lot.
Well, I thought Illinois was pretty good. I mean,
they're
when
ranked.
When they played against us, we beat them in overtime? We barely beat them as well.
Yeah, it's the Big Ten road thing. It's killing everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see if this conference is any good when we get to the NCAA tournament.
That'll be exciting.
The basketball guys I know are like, this conference sucks. This is terrible. And you never know until you just pull up till the tournament.
As far as where Penn State is accustomed to playing games, Fred says that Penn State used to play in the showers.
Ouch. Too soon, Fred. Good God.
Rec Hall, Paul Dalen says where they play volleyball. I'm going
Right.
to see if I can't get a picture of it here because it's truly astounding. The depth to which Penn State sank to try to get a crowd and make it look like they had a crowd for this basketball game.
Didn't Josiah Alec, didn't he say something about a team booing another?
He tweeted today that he'd never been at a game where the student section booed their own team at home. And they did it a lot. You could hear it. I mean, basketball is kind of fun when you're actually halfway decent at it.
Mm-hmm. Now we finally get to laugh at the misery of others.
And you know what? You get to taunt people. Like make fun of Creighton because they finally beat a number 1 team. And apparently one of our guys on Twitter put out a meme that pissed off all the Creighton people a lot. That was kind of funny.
Well, to that end, let's talk about how basketball can be fun when you're good. Big Game Boomer does this little tracker, and they say, who are the best fan bases and who are the worst fan bases? I guess every weekend, or for maybe every key matchup of the week. So this came out earlier this week, and they had Nebraska, and it's top 20, best and worst student sections of the week, and they had Nebraska at number 5. And this is, I believe, from the Penn State game that was on Saturday, I believe.
Well, that game, I'll be honest, that game was kind of boring. I mean, we just beat the shit out of Penn State. I mean,
it was fine.
Yes, we did. We beat them up. And I just thought, wow, there's no drama in this. I don't know what to do now.
Yeah, we beat them 68-49.
Yeah, it was.
That's a pretty good beating.
It is, and I think they didn't really show much fight in it. So,
but anyway, kudos. What I'm trying to say, kudos to the student section to the Nebraska fan base, who has really turned out this season in support of a, I don't want to say maybe an underrated, but definitely producing at a high level men's basketball team.
Yeah.
John, you chuckled. I didn't know what if
they
I was looking at the comments.
Sunday's game is sold out. They just announced this morning that Sunday's game is sold out, and then the next game, I want to say, who's after that? There's limited seating.
Who we got coming up? I don't even know.
Minnesota on Sunday.
Yep. Then on the road at Ohio State a week from tonight, which I think is another winnable road game. And then you have Rutgers at home on March 3rd.
Rutgers. Yeah, that's the one that is limited.
I think that's it.
Get your tickets.
No, actually, that's at home. Yeah. And then on the road at Michigan. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Minnie.
No, you're fine.
All right. So,
okay.
Couple let's hit the comments here for a little bit. Matt Snovac says, Minnie, is this the Minnie from the chat room? If so, shows how much I tune in sometimes if this is old news. Yeah, Minnie's been on since right around Christmas.
Good God, Matt, show up more often. What the hell?
Yeah. STP, man. See the people. See the podcast. And Brando Sports World back again says, good evening, John the Wise. Hello, Minnie and Greg. What's up? It's nice to see us on this winning streak. The best downs we've been given our last 3 opponents. So
I think that the neat thing about it is that give us football's pretty quiet. Otherwise, we have to come up with stories. You know, it's basketball is giving us something to talk about, something to have fun with that isn't just football all the time. You know, and
go
ahead.
You know, it's extremely exciting too because we're winning, and the crowds and the football players are going to the games, and so are the coaches, and they're putting on kind of like what they did for the football program. They're putting on these like really wonderful videos. I mean, it's hyped up. It's a lot of fun.
Could be the year. Top of the 9th, 6-2. Nebraska still leading.
Are they? I hope they're the away team.
We're up to bat.
Mm-hmm.
We're up to bat.
So we're the visitors. That means that we will have a distracted John for probably another 20 or so minutes. Because John just can't focus on anything.
I focus fine.
Do you?
You do one thing well at a time.
I focus here, I focus there, I focus here, I focus there.
That's why you get up and leave sometimes.
Yeah.
Go chase the dog.
It's the focus. Squirrel.
Let's see. Bruce Davis is here, says, hi, John and panel. Great win last night. Now, hold on.
I think he just called us panel.
I take offense to being like I started the show.
Okay if you can call me panel.
The year of our Lord 2016. I started this show. Don't you dare call me panel. Pal.
Poor Greg.
I told you we're gonna it was in the YouTube write-up. It was in the article, hey, don't forget we're gonna be on tonight article on coordination. We're going to get to it in the show. Greg's unbridled rage. And this is with 0 alcohol. I want you to know, as we showed all these empty bottle caps last week, I'm still, if anyone's interested, $5 a piece, I'll flatten them, I'll sign them, I'll send them to you. You can hand them over to John when you see him for baseball here in a couple of months. And each little Greg token is good for a 5-minute hug from John. Yeah, don't worry about it. Just go with it.
Okay, whatever you said. I was looking at baseball and time.
Exactly.
He's not even paying attention.
I was pondering the pitching coach.
So
you might be surprised, John.
I need money and you need hugs, John. So that's what we're doing. But anyway, no, we're. I saw something this week that just, for the love of God, pissed me off to no end.
What?
And we're
Are
going to
we
get to
getting?
it.
Wait. We can't get there yet.
We're not getting there yet.
Okay.
But when I get called to panel on my own damn show,
Woo! Come
where's
on,
that?
he meant well. Maybe he's on a phone and it's really hard to type names because I have that problem.
Okay, chat is just here for rants. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Greg.
There we go. Bruce says, "Hi, Greg, Minnie. Good to see you. Thank you, Bruce. You're forgiven."
See that? Now you're all calmed down. Did you look at your Apple Watch and get your heartbeat down to like 79 resting?
No, I took my Apple Watch off when I came home. So, it's not time yet, James. It's not time yet. Right now, we're happy. There'll be plenty of time. Yeah, we collectively are happy. There'll be plenty of time for rage later. But as we mentioned, Nebraska did go on the road last night at Indiana, and they beat the Hoosiers. And it's the first conference road win of the season. It had to feel good for Coach Hoiberg and company because it wasn't just a win. It was a double-digit Big Ten conference win on the road. And, it was what we've continued to see from this team, getting production from a lot of different places. Some, I don't want to say necessarily unexpected, like Casey Tominaga had 20 points, but Jamarcus Lawrence had a career high 19. Just players on this team continually step up, and it's really great to see. And it's that depth that I really think is going to help them here in a few weeks when we get to the Big Ten tournament, and hopefully beyond in the NCAA men's basketball tournament.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
It was fun.
Just go back to
Nebraska just beat the hell out of them early. They were ahead by 20 at half. And then at the beginning of the second half, that's interesting. That looks very ESPN-like.
What? Who's doing this?
Put somebody else in the middle, though. I feel like I'm surrounded.
I don't know how to fix that.
Nebraska was up by 20. They lost the lead, and Indiana started coming back, and they looked like they have all year on the road where they weren't rebounding. They weren't turning the ball over a lot, but they weren't rebounding. They were missing shots. They were, Indiana couldn't miss anything, and the lead went down, and Twitter exploded. Nebraska Twitter went absolutely batshit insane. Somebody tweeted at me, if they lose this, they don't deserve to be in the tournament. And the last guy that said something to that like that on Twitter, I told to fuck off. But this time I had a more measured response that was, "Oh, come on!" It wasn't typed like that, but that's what I thought. And then, Lawrence hit a 3-point shot, and Indiana suddenly went, "Oh God, we suck again," and they sucked for the rest of the game. And Nebraska kind of just took it away from him. What was really nice to see, it was nice to see it on the road regain their composure and, just start hitting shots and playing well again and start taking the game back over. And then the Indiana crowd booed. And, on Twitter, what happens when like Indiana men's basketball, the official tweet, Twitter account tweets something, the memes start coming back at them. And I guess this is a thing for people to do with badges. That's not just a Nebraska thing. Apparently people do this all over the place, and they're pretty funny. You need to go look at them. If I was prepared, I would have brought up a couple of them.
Yeah, thanks for giving me a lot of warning on that. I could have prepared some of those earlier in the day.
Look.
Well, there was I put one in the Slack room, You lost to Gary, Indiana.
Oh.
I don't know why this is so stupid. I just thought it was hilarious.
That's kind of funny. So I love to say this because this is what I love about basketball. You win by the 3 and you die by the 3.
Well, that's certainly true for Nebraska.
I was going to say.
Yeah. We made 13 3-pointers last night.
Now, how many did we take? How many attempts did we have?
I don't know. You can look that up.
I'm going to. Don't worry.
I have 38 different windows open, but I have the stats right in front of me.
You're dead.
Oh my God.
We were 14 of 33 for 42.4% from the
40% is pretty good. 42% is pretty decent.
Here's the thing. It's not just that Nebraska has, they're hovering around, I think, 40 to 44% from beyond the arc. But what they're doing is they're forcing other teams to try to match that, and so a lot of teams
take bad shots. Yeah.
Right. Now, Indiana didn't look like they necessarily played in that game. They only attempted 21 threes. They made 4 of them. So
I know. Hey,
and it's so terrible because the Hoosiers consider themselves a blue blood program.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't done anything since Bobby Knight was young, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
That is so terrible. But what happened with Rank Mast? Didn't he just only have 2 points last night?
Yeah, he didn't play that well. And that's okay. Sometimes somebody tweeted at me, Rank Mast is the most frustrating player ever. I mean, they have off nights and they have good nights. The key is they have enough depth that somebody else can make up for it. Nick Brown from my hometown of Curtis, Nebraska says Indiana sucks at free throws. That's funny. I think that's hilarious. I didn't realize they were the worst team in the Big Ten at free throws, but it's hilarious because they're Indiana. You know what I mean? It's kind of like us sucking at basketball or at football and people making fun of us.
Well, Paul, this is, I think, and I've seen this comparison in the past, but I think it's very accurate. They are the Nebraska of college basketball. They're living on the glory of years past.
20 years ago.
Now, I mean, we talk about, Rank Master. Yeah, he only had 2 points, but we had, Tominaga had 20. We mentioned Jamarcus Lawrence with 19. Bryce Williams had 18. Juwan Gary had 15. Wilcher, who was so pivotal in that win against Wisconsin, had 2. So, I mean, again, you just never know who's going to step up. But you get 4 guys with 15 or more points. I think that's one of the more balanced offenses in the conference. I don't follow everybody. I got a pretty good idea.
Well, we got it together on defense in the second half. I felt like. So that, you're right.
And it should be stated that I was working till almost 10 o'clock and didn't see any of the game. So I'm just making it up as I go. Let's not overlook that fact. Yeah. I didn't get home till almost 10:30 last night.
I got up at this morning and my wife said, I knew we won. And I said, how'd you know we won? And she said, you stopped screaming profanities at the TV. Because she went to bed when I screamed at her.
But why are you screaming profanities? We weren't behind at all last night.
Indiana, listen.
Do you not know John?
You looked at the foul shot discrepancies, and I think Nebraska had like 6 free throw attempts, and Indiana had 21 or something.
So for the game, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Yeah. So Indiana had 24 free throw attempts. They made 14. Nebraska had 14 attempts and made 9. So,
but when I screamed at her is they called Tominaga for traveling, and I went nuts. And she goes, "Well, he did travel," and I went, "It's 5 steps at home," and they did.
I love that your mic cuts out.
Game. What's that?
I love that your mic cuts out when you start screaming profanities.
I didn't know that.
At least it did on my end.
On the next available soon at the store at copycorn.com, she went to bed when I screamed at her. The next big t-shirt.
But I did. She's like, he did travel.
Like, just because something's true doesn't mean you have to bring it up all the time. So
okay, top of the ninth, Nebraska 7-2, 1 out. We got runners at second and third. And Aaron Rostovsky is right. It's Silva.
You want to try? You want to try pronouncing that again?
Which one?
Rostovsky.
Aaron Rostovsky.
Aaron Rostovsky.
Her first name's Aaron.
Yeah, Rostovsky. You hired him. Get your head.
I did hire him. I call him Aaron because that's his name.
I call him Sweetie. No, I don't know. That's weird. It's all fun, kids. Yeah, James says looking very much like the NBA. There were several travels during the game that weren't called, but they called that one.
Okay,
He
John.
watched. There you go.
See? You're welcome, Aaron. Let's see. Brando Sports World, the only thing that would have made this win even better is if Tom Crean was still Indiana's coach. He hated that guy.
I think that you could have a Big Ten basketball coach scowl contest, and Tom Crean just was so good with his facial expressions. I mean, I would love it if he's right. I would love it if he was there now and we beat him last night. And he would just, do that shit he does with his face and just, your Fran McCaffrey going completely ballistic. It's so fun to watch that part of basketball. Fred Hoiberg rarely ever gets really he's not scowly. Danny Nee can scowl like a son of a bitch. Fred Hoiberg, you can see him cuss every once in a while, I respect a guy that cusses, but
we know you do, John.
Good scowl. Ben Johnson, Minnesota guy, almost went after an official the other night. He had to be pulled back by one of his people. I didn't think he had that in him.
Now that's entertainment.
That's right up Fred's alley.
Going to the bottom of the ninth, up 7-2.
All right. Only
this is where we lost the last two games.
This is about where we're going to lose John, I'm afraid.
Why is that?
Because you'll lose interest in us and focus on baseball.
I just have a score sheet thing up here. I'm not watching anything live.
Sure. So in the comments, we got a return from the legend living in Omaha, David Matney, who says good evening. And in recognition, because, again, we're such a terrific community here, Fred says, living in Omaha, David Matney, there you are. It's been a minute. We need your counterbalance of common sense here. So that's a very nice comment. And David, for sure, we get a lot of ridiculous questions and nobody's denying it. Nobody's complaining. But Mr. Matney always brings some really good questions that are topical. So welcome back, David. And all right, so we talked about a little bit of a look ahead to Nebraska's schedule. The next one is always the most important one. Minnesota Sunday at home. As Minnie said, it's sold out. You can watch it on the Big Ten Network, which is what I will do.
We are ranked 5th in the conference, and I want to say Minnesota's
not good.
Yeah, not very good. So hopefully we're not going to take this as, just laying down, and we go in and kick some Minnesota butts.
Yeah, John, does Rotten Son care about basketball? Or is it just like to rub your face in football?
He cares if they're good, and they're not really that good. Although they're not at the bottom of the conference. I think, when you looked at the preseason, everybody expected Minnesota to be at the bottom. And I think they're like 5th or 6th. But, if here's what Rotten Son does. Rotten Son comes downstairs from his palace room, with his nice computer where he lives. He comes down the last 2 minutes of games when he knows we're possibly going to lose them. And then he just stands, I sit on the couch here and he stands over here right out of my peripheral vision. And I'm like, what are you doing now, you fuck? And he's like, I know he'll never watch this, so he'll never get that impression of him. And then
it would drive me crazy to live with somebody like that.
Well, I can't beat him because he has
crazy.
a mother that lives here too. Yeah.
So I find a way.
If we somehow lose to Minnesota, it would look like we might be losing, that's what's going to happen toward the end of the game.
No, so I wonder if he has a Google alert that'll tell him the score in the last 5 minutes of the game.
He runs down real quick.
Huh?
I think that he watches the game. He just watches the games on his monitors.
I see. Well,
he's 6 monitors,
As far as men's basketball is concerned, yes, Nebraska is 5th in the conference. They're 9-7 in the conference. Minnesota is 7th in the conference at 8-7. Nebraska is 8-0 at home. And it's a home game. Minnesota's 2-5 on the road. It's a good opportunity for Nebraska to keep, inching along. And let's face it, at the end of the day, Nebraska's grateful or should be grateful that of the 27 games that they've played this year, 17 of them have been at home. There's just something different about the Pinnacle Bank Arena. I don't know if it's – I remember the first – I don't know what that was about. But No Sit Sunday was like the real first – and maybe that's recency bias. And we're going to talk about that recency bias later on as well. But that was like my first real wake-up call to the Nebraska basketball fans, that fateful Sunday against Wisconsin. But this year, they've just been next level. And again, it's being noticed. I'm not going to put the graphic up, but, it's being noticed by outside, disinterested parties that the like the student section and how they're affecting games. So Nebraska can take care of, they've got 2 more at home. They got 2 more on the road. Realistically, I think that Rutgers game might be the most difficult of the bunch. Well,
yeah, that is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Didn't we just now, did we beat the record for home wins on the last?
I don't think so.
No, 2 games ago. Yeah, we did.
I don't. You sure?
I thought it was 18 wins. I might be wrong.
I'm pretty sure. So this next one will actually surpass it if we win. Somebody in chat will probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's.
What the hell, Aaron Rostadowski? I wanted to announce that, you bastard.
You can read it. This is audio and visual.
Aaron Rostadowski says Huskers win 6 runs on an All-American pitcher.
Rostovsky. Aaron Rostovsky. Rostovsky. Eastern European.
Aaron Tchaikovsky says.
Nope.
Rostovsky.
You're thinking of the famous composer Tchaikovsky.
Aaron Rasputin says we won.
Nope. You're thinking of the famed Russian, not Soviet, but wizardish type advisor, Rasputin. No, Rostovsky.
Okay, Rostovsky.
Here's one. I'm gonna let you read this one, John.
What? Yeah, Aaron Keed says I'm an Aaron, but I'm no Rostabosky indeed, Scotty.
That's really funny.
And Fred laughs that Aaron Rostovsky stole your thunder.
Aaron Rostabosky, you can do the recap. I suck at recaps. Okay.
And Highlander Gun says, I thought it was Aaron. Good pop culture reference there. Fred, John, Fred says that you are the Husker Rasputin. No matter what happens, he can't get rid of you. So
that people have complained about that in my life.
Nobody's complaining. We love you, John.
Especially when they had beer.
Well, let's take this opportunity to remind all of you good people that if you are watching this on YouTube, and here we'll make the viewers happy, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you are notified anytime we bring you a new episode, new content, whether it's the full live stream episode like this or one of John's reaction videos. And I don't have any fancy flashy graphics for it, but if you haven't yet, head over to John's other YouTube channel. And John, the name of that YouTube channel is
Hardcore College Football History.
And be educated on, at least in the early videos, the infancy of this sport that we all love, this sport that realistically brought us all together, and the reason why we're all here tonight. Make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, and hit the notification. That's the best way that you can help us out. And when you hit that like button, or as some people in the chat have said in the past, smash that like button. It affects the algorithm and more people can see it. We can elevate to the top of some of these Husker channels and things like that. So, right?
Yeah, I act
Cool.
like a professional in the history videos. It's kind of
You do. You're very put
It's
together. You usually have your hair pulled back,
Yeah.
really
like-
off-putting.
sweater,
funny.
but they're
Yeah.
great videos.
Thank you.
They are. I
Also-
love the history.
As we mentioned, while we don't have the I screamed at her and then she went to bed, we do have plenty of great merch available at cobbycorn.com, like this RTFB shirt, and you can obtain it in a variety of background colors and sizes and styles and hoodies and other things. And while you're there, you'll want to get that Cobby full body suit and rock that the hoodie and matching pants and the bandana and everything. Just make the most of your expendable income and support the show, support John.
The man-killing mastodon
You
shirt.
can get the man-killing mastodon shirt.
What about some yellow
Okay.
tights?
And also,
We'll get there.
I don't know if you know this, but our main man John has written a few books, limited or including but not limited to Been Dead, Never Been to Europe. And it goes and just explains all of John's the heart attack, the widowmaker that almost took him, and the head injury, the memory loss, the trauma, the laughs. I laughed not at John's misery, but as his retelling of some of the tales of his youth, growing up in Curtis, Nebraska, and playing 5-man football and using a stone because they didn't have leather back in the day. So there's that. And then I think the last thing we have as far as our housekeeping, let's not forget Friday, March 1st.
Okay, March 1st. Did I know that?
Yes,
Yes.
you were there. We had to run it past you. We will be
Really?
watching Young Guns as a family. So get your popcorn and your Reese's Pieces and whatever other candies you need to get through this, and whatever John will have to use to endure watching Young Guns with us as we Mystery Science Theater 3000 this shit. So
Roger Moore when we started this, he said he just got through watching Young Guns. How many times can you watch Young Guns?
all the
In
time.
one month.
No, you can watch it maybe a half.
A half?
I don't remember.
Josh,
I
if
didn't-
you're referring to Young Guns, probably going to be same time, 9 Central, 8 in lesser time zones. So be prepared for that.
And John, we were wondering if you're going to be wearing your chaps for that.
I have
Or some
chaps.
Or some people say chaps.
I probably should get something cowboy-esque, huh?
That'd be awesome. But could you do it like Marty McFly in Back to the Future, the end of 2, went in into the beginning of 3 when he goes back to the Old West? Like, could
I
you
don't
look like
remember that.
really
I don't remember
hokey,
that at all.
non-authentic looking cowboy gear?
Yeah. I mean, whatever I would wear as cowboy gear would be non-authentic looking. I've never been able to pull off wearing a cowboy hat or boots or any of that stuff,
But didn't you grow up in Nebraska on a farm?
Yeah. Not on a farm. I grew up in a
Oh.
small town.
But
John
you grew
Cougar
up with
Milliken.
farm kids,
Yeah.
and that's how everybody
Working for-
dressed, right?
Well, not everybody. You had the people that lived in the country that typically might wear cowboy hats. And then you have, I just have never been able to, if I put a cowboy hat people look at me and they go, what are you scamming us for? That's, I'll find a cowboy hat maybe.
Okay. We're looking forward to it.
So
Sheriff's
excited.
badge.
Fred says that the only chaps John has is his ass after we lose a football game.
Boy, ain't that a truth.
And Dave Matney, leaning into
My God.
the great one, has Curtis, Nebraska given John the key to the city? or are there any statues of our fearless leader?
There's actually a sign outside of town with my picture on a big round thing with a slash through.
Fred says, no, they gave him a rubber chicken and said, get the fuck out and never come back.
There you go.
No.
Okay.
Y'all were
Nick Brown
neighbors?
says I can still hit his house with a baseball.
Well, if you hit it hard enough, will the house fall over? I mean, those log cabins.
Well, it's not my house. It's not our house anymore. Somebody else lives there, I guess.
I mean, that's how houses work. Either they live in them or they get torn down. So, all right. Let's see here.
Dean Butterman Warren Hot Fuzz.
James Boardman says, great big gobs of greasy, grimy gopher guts. I feel like that's a Monday night thing. Is that a Monday night thing?
No, we were talking about playing Minnesota.
Yeah. But that's some terrific alliteration that I feel like you or Todd would say.
Are you kidding me? You don't know what that is?
I feel like that's a saying from a movie. Right?
James Boardman, tell him what that is. Oh my God.
Is it National Lampoons?
Ah.
Well, that's got to be Caddyshack.
Ah.
That makes
the
sense.
other Chevy Chase. Yep.
Sorry.
Great greed gobs of greasy, grimy gopher guts. It was like a song or it was a song. I mean, there's about 60 people online right now. How many of you people have ever heard of Dr. Demento?
I have.
Many. You've never heard of Dr.
I mean,
Demento.
honestly, I think you'd be more surprised if I said yes. I've heard of it.
That's not inaccurate.
Okay. Number one, Highlander Gun has it right. It's a camping song. Great. The full title is Great Green Gobs of Greasy, Grimy Gopher Guts. And I forgot my spoon. But Dr. Demento has had a radio show. He's still around. He still does online stuff, but he had a radio show where he would play him and Weird Al, he's one of the reasons why Weird Al got famous, and they both kind of got famous together when Weird Al years ago started doing parody songs, and they took off. Probably the biggest one in the early 80s being Another One Rides the Bus instead of Another One Bites the Dust by Queen. That was big.
We're all familiar with parodies, John.
Oh my God. That was so dismissive. You're lucky I'm not there. You're like, oh, fucking shut up, old man. This stuff.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I didn't mean to start a tirade. I just couldn't remember the source.
Fish heads, roly poly fish
Roly Poly
heads.
I remember that song.
Okay, that was a Dr. Demento song.
I saw Daddy Kissing Santa Claus. Everyone knows that song.
That's famous. I don't know
that one.
What?
I know Mommy. I saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus.
That is listed under one of his songs. Shaving Cream, which is all these songs are funny, stupid. There's songs about Star Trek. I'm trying to think of the Existential Blues was probably my favorite. Okay,
my Bologna.
My Bologna, yeah.
All right. I didn't want this is the chat slowed down for a minute, so this one is still here. I have to ask John, what the hell happened Monday night?
Yeah.
Because Dave Matney says, wasn't Monday night droopy boob night?
I just read that too. Fill us in. What was going on?
Linda Wilkins is one of our regulars, and she made a joke about droopy boobs.
Linda made a joke about droopy boobs.
And it was a very, very good droopy boobs joke. You can go back and watch it. It's in the comments.
I already watched it, but now I'm going to have to rewatch it with the comments up.
All right. Well, let us move on.
Okay, we're moving on.
We're moving on up. No, we're not. We talked men's basketball. Let's address women's basketball because this has been, shall we say, a challenging week for head coach Amy Williams and her team, although, they're handling business on the court. They won a couple in a row. Last Saturday, last Saturday they beat Purdue. And then after everything came out earlier this week, they were home against Northwestern and took care of business, winning that one big 75-50. But it's been a tumultuous week, I would say, after some accusations or allegations and a lawsuit came forth that alleged, I guess at the least impropriety and at most exerting power and influence over a past player. James Borman's right there. Can't be a Big Ten school without a sex scandal.
God, that is true, isn't it?
And it just seems like every time we're on this upswing, right? It's the Nebraska curse. I swear. It's like, oh, we just got to get a black eye.
Well, there has to be some drama. How many total athletes are the student athletes, air quotes, student athletes, are there at Nebraska? Like 700?
Oh, gosh. Well, yeah, there's got to be. I mean, if you're including like the bowling.
Well, yeah, 22 sports.
Diving.
What, 650, 700 student athletes? I mean, year by year, some of them got to have grievances. I mean, that sounds really dismissive, but.
I mean, she's playing at UNLV now.
Right.
So she's actually still playing.
Yeah.
Why did it take this long to come up? I hate that.
Well, people in that position have to digest and they have to process stuff for a while.
Yeah, but that's why she was dismissed.
And honestly, let's face it, every time you search this young woman's name, this is going to come up probably for the rest of her life. So
that's true.
I think there's a lot of guts that's in that too. Do I really want to do this? You could probably be really cynical about it and say, well, some lawyer put it up to us. Well, maybe they did. At the same time, sometimes, these things are necessary. If Nebraska screwed up, then they should just pay her. And there you go. That's what lawyers do. Well, Johnson Hanson, lawyers do is get compensation for people that have been wronged.
Fred says, Minnie, quit talking Nebraska curses. No bad mojo. Leave that to John in his toilet.
Yeah, that is true. I haven't. Okay.
You're right. No bad mojo.
Right. But again, despite, I don't know if you want to call it adversity or uncertainty, is this going to be something that causes people to lose jobs? Probably not. But will the university end up paying? I'd say so.
Well, it already caused the guy to lose his job at the time.
Right. But the one who was obviously directly involved, right? But I don't think Amy Williams will lose her job. I don't think Trev Alberts is going anywhere. But again, despite all that, Nebraska.
Well, this is when Trev Alberts just became the AD, right? What year did he become AD? Yeah. So probably, he was in the tail end of it, I'm guessing. I'm just thinking out loud.
Josh says neither side wants this in court. They'll both look to settle. And let's see. Yeah, MK is hoping they can settle out of court as well. But again, despite that, Nebraska, big win against Northwestern at home a couple of nights ago. They're home again. We mentioned that Minnesota Men are coming to town here on Saturday night, I think. Is it Sunday? Yeah, it is Sunday.
Sunday.
I'm horrible. Anyway, yes. So back-to-back Nebraska-Minnesota matchups at home at PBA Saturday night, Sunday night. So go out if you're in the area, support. This is not a bad Nebraska team. In fact, it's probably one of the better performing teams that Amy Williams has had in her tenure here. 18-9, 10-6 in the conference. They similarly have had some impressive wins with the win recently over number 2 Iowa. It's go out and support this team just like you would the men.
What about dead puppies? Dead puppies aren't much fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
we went back to a previous topic.
The
Dr.
Dr.
Demento?
Demento song. Huh?
I don't know that one.
Dead puppies.
I remember
You
Fish Head. but I
scared
don't
me
know.
for a second. It's like, where's Esther?
Oh gosh, don't do that. Let's see here. Wrestling. I don't have a ton to talk about wrestling. I know that Dylan just did a nice write-up about some incoming Huskers who were state champions. One of them in North Dakota was a 5-time high school state champion because he also won the state title for high school as an 8th grader. So he won in 8th grade, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior years. It's pretty impressive. He's coming to Nebraska as well. A kid from Colorado had 2 losses. He's a state champ, had 2 losses this year, but they were both in the Ironman tournament, which is a little bit different. I think it's more of like bringing out some of the top tier talent from the country. So I don't have a ton for wrestling other than they're going to wrestle at Arizona State this coming Sunday, and they, like everybody else, lost to Penn State in a duel a few days ago. So
Yeah, we were doing pretty good though up until the end.
Well, it's Penn State hasn't lost a duel.
was it
It's
4
like,
years?
Yeah, something 55. It was their 55th win in a row. I mean, they're so dominant. I think Todd said they're probably going to have 5 national champions, and they should be disbanded or something for being too good. So it's more competitive, and we could win a national title. The greedy bastards. Yeah, sons of bitches from Penn State. Anyway.
Well, John, you and
What?
we have. Oh, I was just gonna say you have the Grand Canyon University men's or the baseball. Nebraska won tonight. I think you said 7-2.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Aaron will have the recap for that on coronation.com. But any highlights there, John, you wanted to discuss? Because it's in the notes. I'm trying to stick to the format so I don't get yelled at.
No, I didn't pay that close attention. That's what we have Aaron Rostovsky for and Todd. They know baseball. You know what I mean? They know stuff like when you're supposed to like send the guy and to bunt and not flip the bat. They know all that stuff. I just make up shit about baseball. I enjoy it. The thing about baseball and basketball is I don't know those sports well enough to be a really good pundit, but I can like blabber enough about them to sound like something. Whereas, we have other guys that are really actually know like Nate McHugh coaches basketball for crying out loud, If we get a soccer team, I can talk some things about. I coached soccer for a while. There you go.
And while we're sticking to the format,
we're sticking to the format.
We are working on sticking to the format, and my unbridled rage segment will come at the end. It was supposed to be allegedly. I was told, folks, let me tell you, they wanted me to put that in the quote unquote housekeeping section. I said no, because it's football related, and it will have its due damn time. So we'll get to that. But we have, spring workouts are near to starting, and Minnie, you've got a little breakdown of kind of the upcoming timeline or calendar of activities.
Yes, right? We all want to know football stuff. What can we expect? So now we know they have started the mat drills, which consists of 6 a.m. They're meeting at the Hawk Center for 75 minutes worth of mat drills. And these guys are like pushing around semis. They're doing all kinds of weird things. Coach Knighton said, because remember, he was coached by Matt Rule at Baylor. He said, We were the guinea pigs out there at 5 a.m. So he was up an hour earlier. Coach Rule was a younger coach, and he had a lot more energy chasing us around. It was a lot harder when I was doing it. So I don't feel sorry for those guys. And I love that. I know. It sounds so tough.
I like
Ruling. It. Yeah.
I heard there was a lot of vomiting.
Don't start.
Oh, sure.
Don't start, John. Are you making that up? Are you calling back to?
Well, think about it. These guys probably haven't been pushed very hard for a couple months. You know, they've been college students, and now they got to go get back into it. And their coaches are like, "Let's see what you're made of."
They're screaming at him. Well, and they said Matt Rule was actually, he's always asked about Dylan Raiola, and he's just like, he's out there every single day at 6 a.m. He's like one of the first people to get there. So he's taking it really seriously.
Mark it 56 minutes and about 17 seconds when Minnie finally said the name. The name above names. If you want to blaspheme. Oh my gosh, twice in the same minute. Holy cow.
Yay.
All right.
So what's up next is the spring practice begins in a month, March 24th. So right after spring break. And then they're going to get a whole month of practice right before the spring game, which is April 27th.
Are you going to come to Nebraska for the spring game, Minnie?
I really want to.
What's keeping you from doing that?
Children.
Well, bring with you.
This weekend, for instance, I have 5 games I have to go to. 5.
What are they?
Soccer.
Okay.
All soccer.
I did that. I did that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
For years. Yeah.
Thanks, David.
You could just say, okay, this is my special day, my special weekend. And
I do that. And it's so hard. But okay, so also everyone has seen, I'm sure, that we have an X's and O's coaches clinic. This is actually, I would love to go to this. April 5th and 6th. And Bill Belichick is the special keynote speaker. Now that would be fun to go to.
It'd be interesting. It would be. Do you
Love
have to be a coach to go?
No. You just have to be over 18.
No, they don't open it up to everybody, do they? Oh my God. Where are they going to have this then? Are they going to have it in Memorial Stadium where they can seat 86,000 people, 92,003?
I know.
Is that a new record for coaches clinics worldwide?
Well, he's put together quite a spring and summer. I mean, this guy's busy. Rule keeps things going. It's kind of nice though, because now we know, okay, this is how he runs things, right? So we know what to expect. This is kind of like, I love that he lays things out like that on a schedule for us. Guys, the spring game is also when the transfer portal name entry ends.
Yeah.
So I think we had Corey Collier put in his name like last week. And so, we're still quite a bit over.
David Matty with an all-time great anyone from Michigan going to be attending the coaches clinic.
Yeah.
Do you have the entire speakers list?
No, you know what? It's very vague. Like it's all run separately from Nebraska, like the university. It's actually through a website called Matt Rule's, I think, camps.com, something like that. So,
nope, it's not mattrulescamps.com.
It's something like that. I mean, you have to quote me, really?
I'm just, if people want to know,
Yeah. Read off some of the
people
topics.
might want to go.
Read off some of the topics.
Well, they don't have that laid out either. It's just X's and O's. Basically, they want you to come because, you're learning about coaching. I'm sure they're going to invite a lot of the high school coaches just because they want, them to get their players involved in Nebraska. So, after the spring game, we have summer camps. Now, this is what I liked. We always have summer camps. We have Friday Night Lights. We have position camps. But this year, and I don't know if he's done it in the past, they're opening it up to youth as young as 3rd grade. That's pretty young.
Idea.
I think that's amazing. Remember, he kept talking about in his pressers that he wanted kids from the very first time that they learn about football to be involved in camps. So he's making it happen. What is going on, guys?
So nothing that I can find has any lineup of coaches for the clinic. MattRuleFootballCamps.com.
That's it.
Josh Hansen says fucking Greg and John grilling the only person that does any homework to do more. That's true. We're trying to keep her on her toes.
Light.
By the way,
right.
X's and O's a really nice song by Ellie King. If you've never, search it on your Spotify. X's and O's. It's a fun song.
Okay.
That's what comes to head. That and beep 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 beep. His car went beep beep beep. No recognition whatsoever. Okay.
Well, Fred says that I was raising my hand like a good panelist. And let's see here. Scott Schrader says, Greg, I just got here. How many beers deep in are you? This is where I have to share the bad news that I'm out of Yingling. So I'm actually just drinking dihydrogen monoxide tonight.
There are other beers in the world. I was going to call you Bob. Greg, there's other beers in the world.
I mean, I've been called worse by other people.
Just names and things get stuck in my head.
I think he got hooked. Right. He's been drinking Yingling for a month.
A few weeks, yeah.
At least. Now there's nothing. Yingling or nothing.
We just call somebody. Have a semi truck come by, deliver shit tons.
I will for you, John. I will eventually run and get more Yingling, just not right now. So
you have to go to Missouri.
I have to go to Missouri or Kentucky.
Well,
Missouri.
Who the hell wants to go to Missouri?
I mean, for Yingling and cheaper gas. Illinois
Don't you have friends that can bring it across the border for you.
You know what? That's a good point. I actually do know a guy.
That's your Yingling distributor.
I mean, he's also a coworker, so I could probably facilitate something like that. Minnie, you're on to something. You have just. But if I go across the river, I get cheaper gas because Illinois has outrageous gas tax. So it's like, I could pay $2.89 for gas instead of $3.49 and get some Yingling. So.
And it pays for itself.
No, I still have to pay for it. So zero beers. Actually,
I think Yingling ought to be one of our sponsors. Yes.
I have told numerous a brewery in Nebraska, you send me beer and we will talk about you on the show. They have yet to send me beer.
You're probably on a waiting list of about 4,000 people.
Josh says that we had weather talk and now gas prices. It's officially old man off season.
I haven't brought up old country music.
I love old country music. That I can talk about.
Fred says that Yingling Greg is a more fun panelist on this show. This panel thing is not ever going to die. I make one comment about it.
That's because you did the biggest mistake you can do.
I made a comment about it. I
No.
sold it.
You showed that something irritates you.
Bothers
Yeah.
you.
You should never show. You should never tell anybody what irritates you. Like,
Ever.
hey, you know what you do that irritate me? Never do that.
I know.
Yeah.
But
Okay, advice from John. Also, never
Yeah.
get a tattoo, just in case you
Yeah.
have to go in on a lineup. Please line up.
Please line up.
I
Right.
mean, we have all of these words of wisdom
Yeah.
to live by.
John, I feel like you should put all these
Write a
words
book?
down in a book. Yeah.
Yeah, I should.
Fred says we need a panelist shirt for Cobby Corn. Josh is telling me never to sell. Terry Swanson and others are wanting some country music talk.
There we go.
So Melissa's here and says country music is great. I mean,
Yes.
I'll go
Well,
further and
okay,
say older country music is great. I don't know about
This really depends on what that means.
I mean,
I
I
like
mean, I know
pre-
Toby Keith passed away recently. I never listened to that. Anything past like 1980, whatever.
So, do you listen to any music like from today?
Yeah,
Like the
the
top?
X's and
I don't
O's
know.
song. The X's and O's song I referenced is recent.
Really?
Yeah, Ellie King.
Okay.
Okay, I'll bring up a pay. I'll bring up a. God, the English is hard. A playlist. Here we go. Keep talking among yourselves and figure out how to do this newfangled technology.
Fred says, I think John drugged Minnie's Stanley mug with ADD, anti-Dylan depressants.
It's true. Honestly, okay.
She's not nearly as excited
True
about it now as
confessions.
she was.
True confessions. Whenever I'm watching the men's basketball games, like I'm always pausing it. Okay,
I know right where you're going to go with this.
who's there? Is Dylan there? And I know kind of where he sits, right?
Oh my God. Okay.
I have not seen him. I'm sure he's there though.
He's probably maybe he's wearing a big nose disguise.
There you go. With the fake
Disguising
mustache
himself.
and the glasses. Classic.
Okay, Mr. Brightside, when you were young, somebody told me Runaways All by the Killers, Clarity by Zed, Bang Bang, Humble by Kendrick Lamar, X's and O's, I said, by Ellie King, Broken, I Like Me Better, The Mother We Share, I Still Believe, some 80s songs. Let's see, Bang Bang by Will.i.am. I think one of the best recent pop bands is actually Walk the Moon, and I'll tell you why. I know that they did the single "Come On, Sit Up and Dance," "Shut Up and Dance," whatever the fuck it was. It's a cheesy song, but their music is actually pretty deep within their discography. If you want a beautiful, beautiful Walk the Moon song, listen to Akma, man. It's probably one of the more beautiful love songs you'll ever hear. Surrender is beautiful. Back to You is wonderful. They're really a very, very good pop band from today. Time Bomb. Let's say, well, I have another Where No One Goes. It's from a movie, Train Your Dragon. Another Day of Sun from La La Land. Loudspeaker by Muna. Then I have a couple songs by Tom Jones. Here It Goes. Move Along by the All American Rejects. Here It Goes Again. Okay, Go. After Hours, We Are Scientists. Bring Me to Life by Evanescence.
How long does this play?
Roller Coaster by the Bleachers. I Want to Get Better. Don't Take the Money.
Okay.
Ode to Billy Joe by Bobby Gentry.
John.
No one said it would be easy by Cloud Cult. How long should I go on here?
Okay.
You lost me.
Is there a coordination playlist? That is a great question. I think we ought to have a coordination playlist, although I don't think we could
You don't think I
agree
should
on
put
music.
it together?
No, because it would
Yeah.
be circle jerks and Zen music.
Some people maybe need to be introduced to circle jerks.
Oh, Rammstein. Hey.
How about the Gorillas?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking that you would be a fan of Rammstein too.
Minnie, are you familiar with Rammstein?
Oh, yeah.
Du hast.
Yeah.
Fred says Josh and he are the Coronation playlist.
Wow,
and we play the hits. And we play the hits,
true.
guys. We play the hits. So.
That's true. They never stop
Okay,
coming.
Melissa Getchell says, never heard of any of them. Okay, fine. We're going to go to another one.
Oh
This
Until
one's
you've heard
labeled
of
old.
one. Melissa,
This one's
just
labeled
say-
old. This one's labeled old country. Okay.
Okay.
When it's springtime in Alaska, Johnny Horton battled in New Orleans, sink the Bismarck, all Johnny Horton. The most romantic song ever made in the history of music, Wichita Lineman by Glenn Campbell. A number of songs by Glenn Campbell, Galveston, Gentle on My Mind, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valiant, Gene Pitney, Streets of Bakersfield, Dwight Yoakam, El Paso and Big Iron, Monty Robbins. This is probably going to drive. Okay. Carroll County Accident, Porter Wagner. I bet she's heard of them. Wolverton Mountain, Claude King, Jolie Blonde, Fiddlin' Frenchie Burke. Okay. Make the World Go Away, Eddie Arnold. I'll just move on now. Okay.
Excellent,
People
except for
will
Dwight
stop
Yoakam.
listening. Okay.
That's what I have to say. Okay.
Josh Hansen says, Gentle on My Mind is more romantic than Wichita Lineman. Glenn Campbell had a very beautiful voice, and Gentle on My Mind is a very pretty song also. Okay.
My favorite, I'm just going to say this. Oh, yes, Waylon Jennings, great. My favorite country western singer of all time was George Jones.
Oh, there you go.
Fantastic.
He made the saddest song ever made. I've Stopped Loving Her Today.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah.
He stopped loving her today.
Yeah.
Not I stopped loving her today.
We woke Greg up.
Oh, see, there you go.
Bullshit.
You get one. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll stop now.
All right.
Can I just finish going through the schedule?
Oh God, there's more. Yes, please.
Okay. So
I'm ready.
After we have the third graders visiting at Memorial Stadium for camp, which is freaking awesome. I wish I lived there so that I could send a third grader there.
You can move to Lincoln.
I would love to.
Well,
that actually, I would. You know what? I've talked about getting like a condo there. In August. So I think Rule's taking like a month off, right? Because at the end of July, they have the team move into one like area on campus. Do you remember that? And the coaches have to live there too. And that's when they start. Yeah, that's right. That's when they start gearing up for the season. And then first home game, August 31st. Yes.
Let's go back to this. You're thinking about getting a condo thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it drag us off topic without any effort whatsoever. So are you thinking about actually getting a condo in Lincoln?
Oh, I've talked about it.
Well, okay. Is this like, I talk about a lot of things, when nobody's home, I talk about a lot of things like, well, I won't bring them up here, but
Every time I go there, I'm just like, man, I need to live here. I need to have a place here because it's heaven. It is my favorite place in America to visit. So I would love to have a place.
Well, if there are any realtors out there watching this show, you please contact Minnie and send me an email and we'll see what happens.
I have investors. I've talked to other people about this. Not kidding.
You have investors.
I do. I've talked to other people about, getting a condo there just, so we have a place to stay for games during the season.
Okay. But wait a minute. You're thinking about getting a condo, but you can't come back for the spring game.
Well, the problem is, honestly, I would love to. I
think
still have to think about it a little more.
I think if what the chat is saying right now, we
Well-
have a realtor in amongst us.
Ooh.
Oh my
Fred Sackler.
God! There
Dave
you go.
Matney, that's
Yeah.
right. Yes.
Well, there you go.
How do you give back to one who's given so much to us? You go and buy a freaking condo with you and your other investors.
Yeah.
Seriously. Think
You can
about
have
it.
it be like a timeshare thing. You get it when you
Mhm.
want it, and everybody else can
Mhm.
kiss your ass.
That's what I think. Exactly.
I know a guy who can put a little property casualty coverage on that thing for you too,
Okay.
because you're going to need homeowners insurance or condo owners insurance or even liability. I don't know, umbrella coverage. I don't know. I don't deal in that stuff. So, and Fred will do his due diligence and only take a 25% commission for the finder's fee. So there you go.
Thank you, Fred.
That's awful generous of you, because we know you could have charged much more. So, all right, let's get to some questions. James Boardman says, and I think this is going back
Indiana.
to the basketball, the game. Last night, there was a ball that went out of bounds that was called Nebraska ball by the official 3 feet away. He was overruled by the other official 20 feet behind the play. Look, it's, Nebraska's still not going to get those calls.
You're at Assembly Hall. It was really stupid. I tweeted about it. It was the guy couldn't even have seen the ball go out. He was at the opposite end of the court. The players had their backs to him. I have no idea why he overruled that. Well, yeah, I do. It's Indiana's court. It's home court advantage stuff.
See, Terry Swanson says, I usually go to ESPN or Fox Sports for real estate advice, but might have to switch to Coordination.
I noticed he did. I grew up with Terry. He tried to kill me many times. I noticed he didn't say anything about music advice.
No. I having worked in terrestrial radio, even I never just said, here's the next 30 songs that you're going to hear, and just writing a list. It's not how the radio industry works. I applaud your valid attempt to entertain and enlighten the audience, but holy shit, don't ever fucking do it again.
Well, James
Okay,
Boardman
so
was
next week it'll be the post-punk 80s playlist.
God.
okay.
Ah.
James Boardman was looking for a rant earlier, so there you go. You didn't specify what kind of rant.
Oh no, we're getting there.
John's musical rant?
Our super living in Omaha David Matney. Now I'm starting to think that living in Omaha is not actually like his residence, but what he helps other people do.
Oh.
This is unlocking a new layer. Anyway, serious question about NIL. When do you think there will be a lawsuit over Title IX and NIL? How do you think the NCAA handles that? Seems like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
There are unbelievable shit tons of lawsuits against the NCAA for both of these subjects. NIL is right now there's a lawsuit that they're almost certainly to lose that has a liability of around $4 billion. So they're being sued for basically the equivalent of back wages and things like that. And they are going to lose these lawsuits. They are going to lose these lawsuits, and probably, I keep saying this, 3 to 5 years where you're going to be looking at a completely different sports landscape. But yeah, they have, I don't even know how many lawsuits are against them, but they're going to lose most of them. And what we're going to see is probably like the Big Ten and the SEC making a new league out of this and something different happening. I saw a guy the other day predict that college enrollment will drop by 50% in the coming years. And that's going to slaughter a lot of colleges, and they're going to have to rethink if they're going to have athletics. So,
well, and as crazy as it sounds, my oldest is 8 and he's in second grade, and the twins will actually be 3 tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, I was thinking about this, before we started rolling sound. I'm like, before, like right around 9 o'clock is when, I looked at my wife, she looked at me, and she's like, take me to the hospital. Because she's like, I know that they're going to send me home. It's crazy. And the twins were born at 107 and 109 respectively on February 23rd. But even in talk with my clients now, it's what type of college savings are you planning and things like that. And so many of them like, if that's where they, there's a generation, and I'm kind of that generation, that we're not pushing our kids to a college or university. Like if my kids want to go to a trade school or if they just want to enter the workforce, more power to them. I don't want them to incur 6 figures of debt for a degree that, let's be honest, they're not likely to use anyway, because the workforce in certain fields is overly saturated. So,
well, if
but
you're
so
right,
I understand.
I should be able to take my kids' college funds and buy a place in Lincoln then.
There you go.
I'm sure they wouldn't mind.
That's fine. And we know a guy.
We do.
Yeah, we know a guy.
Hopefully he'll hook me up.
He will definitely hook you up and maybe even waive his commission. Don't do it, David. Don't do it. If she's gonna steal from her children's future, make her pay full price.
Well, you just told me I didn't need to save.
I didn't. No, it's not what I said.
Or I'm taking my financial advice from you, Greg.
Oh, we need to have a different conversation off air then. All right. So that's that answers that question, I think. So, yeah, Mr. Matney says we need a Chatterverse line of shirts on the Cobby store, and James says enter the Chatterverse T-shirt would be good. Let's see. Fred says, Terry, you grew up with John. You deserve an award of some sort.
Oh, come on. He was difficult. I was easy.
Do you want to see Terry's response before you respond?
Oh, fine.
Terry said, Fred, it wasn't easy.
Oh, come on. Just because we were all stuck in a small town and there wasn't much escape from my voice.
And Highlander Gun asks when we're having a toga night.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
This Highlander Gun guy is too much of an instigator.
He is. He's kind of a stirrer.
He's good. And that would be a fun one. We could watch Animal House.
We'll see how this goes, and we'll see what happens next.
So Melissa, they watch the football games and other sports. They'll sit and watch ball games. They like ball games.
Have plans to visit Lincoln for sure.
Yeah, we'll get them there eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to get there without them first and reunite with all you wonderful people. Do my proper.
Are you coming to the spring game?
No.
Why?
You want just the blunt answer?
Yeah.
Right here, live on YouTube in front of everybody?
Well, I would hope it's an answer you could give that doesn't get you in legal trouble.
No, legal trouble. No money.
Oh, okay. I get that.
Let's see. Fred will donate $100 to get an Animal House watch along.
There you go.
Oh my God.
What
have we done?
Every $100 that we collect on coronation, we will watch a movie of your choosing.
Well, wait a minute.
That could be
price
dangerous.
should go up.
That could be real dangerous. All right. Let's look. We're closing in on the 90-minute mark, and John doesn't want to be up any later. So we have to get to that which infuriated me to such a degree that I included it in the title of this show when I said Nebraska basketball, good and bad, and rage against idiots.
Okay.
What, John?
Nothing. I'm preparing myself.
Okay. So our friend, Mr. Adam Carricker, shared this graphic earlier this week. College football's most iconic teams.
Why are you doing this to yourself?
because I saw it and it pissed me off to no
Oh
end.
my God, really?
What is
So-
he thinking?
No, he didn't create it. He saw it and he said, I came across this, or this was sent to me. What do you think? Yada, yada. So he did not create this. He just,
What is B33?
I don't know. I thought it was
It's a
bottom.
bingo.
Well, B only goes up to 15. Don't ask me how I know that.
Oh,
Yeah, I completely agree and understand, Josh, that this is clickbait,
Iconic.
trolled, definitely just out there for clicks and engagement, and I got sucked into it, but it pissed me off
why?
because it's complete, absolute fabricated bullshit. First of all, number 14 being the 2023 Colorado team.
That's what I
Well, they were
zoned
kind
in.
of iconic.
Not in any good way.
Well, yeah, but they would. We're going to talk about it for years to come.
For what? 2 games?
The 2023
No,
Michigan team is not
for the
iconic.
level
2020
of
Coastal
bullshit.
Carolina. No, I guess if you want to call iconic as not saying best, then or
What
for,
does the
maybe
word
for-
iconic mean, Greg?
I always thought
Come
it was.
on.
I always thought it was like legendary best, things that are above the rest. I don't think Boise State, 06 Boise State team's in there. I don't think the 2017 Central Florida team is in there. And with the benefit of hindsight, I think we all wish that the 2017 Central Florida team would have finished 6-6. Because then we wouldn't have been stuck with Scott Frost. So this offended me in such a degree that I went and found 3 different. I'm gonna pull this down, John. I know you want to see me. I'm gonna pull this graphic down. I went and pulled 3 different sources that talked about the best most talented college football teams of all time. We're going to start with Fox Sports. This particular article came out. I have to scroll all the way to the top because, of course, we can't just have nice things. 5 most talented college football teams of all time. This was August 22nd of 2023. It has the in
Do we guess?
ascending.
Do we guess?
No, we don't have time for that, John. You want to be out of here in 5 minutes,
Okay.
2 minutes.
You're right.
In ascending order, they have number 5 being the 06 Oklahoma Sooners. They had, which of course featured Adrian Peterson. They have the 2015 Ohio State Buckeyes with Zeke Elliott and others. They had the 2021 Georgia Bulldogs at number 3. Then they had the 1986 Miami Hurricanes, which, whatever. Vinny Testaverde is the quarterback. And then they had the 2017 Alabama Crimson Tide.
Those are what?
Those were, according to FoxSports.com and at least this writer, the 5 most talented college football teams of all time. So I think they're looking more at
NFL
draft picks,
Yeah, okay.
etc. So I okay. Then I go to Bleacher Report, and this article from, God dang it, I always scroll to the bottom because I was curious to see what the hell. This article from 2020. So again, won't have the last couple of years. The 10 best college football teams of all time. Honorable mention was they had the 1945 Army Black Knights, 1947 Michigan Wolverines, 1947 Notre Dame, 1968 Ohio State, 74 Sooners, 87 Miami Hurricanes, 94 Penn State, 2008 Florida Gators, and the 2013 Florida State Seminoles. Those are the honorable mentions. You get the 1956 Oklahoma Sooners at number 10. Then you get the 79 Alabama Crimson Tide at number 9. The 05 Vince Young Texas Longhorns at number 8, which is, pretty darn good football team. The 2018 Trevor Lawrence Clemson Tigers. You had the 2019 Joe Burrow LSU Tigers. You had the 04 USC Trojans, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, I believe, in that duo. And number 4, you have Tommy Frazier and the 1995 Nebraska Cornhuskers at number 4.
Okay.
So at Bleacher Report, they found 3 teams better than that. Here's the thing. Nebraska that year finished 12-0. with 35 or more points in every game. 6 of those were 50 or more points. They beat the second-ranked Florida 62-24 in the Fiesta Bowl, and in the other games against top 10 teams, they outscored the opponents 134-49, and no team lost to Nebraska by less than 14 points. That's number 4. They have the 1972 USC Trojans. They have the 1971 Nebraska Cornhuskers. John, I think you were entering your 14th year of med school. This was Jerry Taggy, Johnny Rogers. Nebraska beat Alabama in the Orange Bowl 38-6. Nebraska was number 1, Alabama number 2. And then they have
Say
the
that
01.
again. What was that score? We beat who?
Alabama 38-6.
Scream that. That is
I can't. All my
so
family's
freaking
sleeping.
awesome.
Look up.
No wonder Johnny
you look
Rogers
up-
runs
look
around
up
so
the-
pissed off all the time.
You
I'd be
need
pissed
to
if
look-
I was him too.
Okay. Since you're a newer Husker fan, you need to go to Amazon. Go to Amazon right now
Okay.
and first search for 71 Game of the Century. They'll see if that's the proper title. Oh,
You know,
good
you
God.
had a book that you brought out that was like 2 volumes, like this thick, and it had the Husker, like so much of like information.
Oh, that was
lots of
about that was
interviews.
by Paul Koch's books that are interviews with all the people about from the 90s. I'm not. We're gonna have to reference. I will have to reference this. Remind me to look it up next week. There's a book out there that talks about the 71 Nebraska-Oklahoma game. It's one of the better books. Probably actually right back here on my shelf. In fact, I probably know where it is.
In fact, let me get up.
There he gets up. Well, okay, at least it goes down to his knees. His robe.
A little disappointed by the length of that robe, actually, John.
What?
Is it the irresistible Oklahoma meets immovable Nebraska? Is that it?
Here it is. The game of the century.
The game of the century.
Nebraska versus Oklahoma. It may be out of print. It is written by, it's from Bison Books, which is a Lincoln publisher. Written by Michael Corcoran.
Okay.
And no, Fred, listen, Fred, they invented the internet. I don't have to keep my copies of jugs around anymore. The fact that you knew that was a thing, oh my God, Fred. But no, this is an excellent book. If you want to read about the, past history, 71 team, this book is excellent. It's really shiny. You know what I mean? But there you go. Get it. Go see if it's on Amazon. If it is not on Amazon, go to abebooks.com and buy it.
John, I'm waiting for you to do it. You got to call Fred a shit ass for that comment.
Fred, you shit ass. There you go.
All right. So again, back to that Bleacher Report list. They had the number 1 team, the best college football team of all time, being the 2001 Miami Hurricanes. That was a very talented team.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's, again, I'm biased. Then you go to ESPN. And ESPN's page 2 has the list of the best college football teams of all time, and it's from a staff, so it's not one individual writer. And again, in ascending order, I'm trying to highlight or find some others. I'm not going to worry about the also receiving votes, but they have at number 10 the 1961 Crimson Tide. At number 9, they have the 1974 Oklahoma Sooners. At number 8, they have the 1956 Sooners. And number 7, they have 1947 Notre Dame. They also have 1947 Michigan at number 6. Miami, they have, this is how subjective I guess this is. They have the 01 Miami team at number 5. They have the 1945 team at from Army at number 4. They have Nebraska's 95 team at number 3. The 72 USC team at number 2. And Nebraska's 1971 team at number 1. Why did I go to this extreme amount of research?
Why did you?
because that list pissed me off so much. Again, I don't know what it is about that, because I knew that list was designed to bait me in, and I thank God for someone like Adam Carricker so that I didn't have to engage this social media troll who put it out there for the explicitly designed purpose of riling up fan bases like me, so that I could just see it on Adams, steal it, borrow it here. I actually commented as the Five Heart Podcast Facebook page. I commented on Adam's post, be like, I'm going to steal this and we're going to use it as cannon fodder on this week's show. Yes. Yeah, Michael, and I'm not. You're not wrong. Michael Hossman says they trolled me good.
I don't think that's what he said. I think
That's what he said.
I think they said he trolled you good. That's what they said. That's how you properly read that. They trolled you good.
Well, David agrees 100%, and
okay. So Greg
also believes that the list was AI generated.
That's a possibility.
Yes, Minnie. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'll calm down.
First thing that I did was look up who the heck is this B33.
Right.
I mean, never heard of them before. So, yeah, all they did was like pre-war college pennants.
They
like
clearly
way back in the day. Obviously. So then I wouldn't give it any consideration. But I'm with you. It ticks me off to no end when people, like, I hate hearing about, okay, especially because now everyone's talking about who's going to be in, the college football playoffs because of the new 5-7 thing. And I hate it when they forget about Nebraska. Hate it. I'm with you.
I knew as soon as I saw that graphic that it was designed to piss me off.
You personally.
Yes. It succeeded immensely because I just gave it a whopping 12 and a half minutes here at the end of our show. But such is and I don't know, again, if you read the article or if you read the description on YouTube for this show, recency bias and clickbait, and I hate them both. That's what this is all about.
2023 Colorado, though, we're going to be talking about that team for years to come, Greg.
We're going to be talking about Lamborghinis and
I'm here too.
Louis Vuittons.
I'm here too, John. And I do have a thing or two to say about the 2023 Colorado Buffaloes.
I think he was saying we the three. He was addressing me because I'm the one who's clearly upset. I don't think he was
pissy.
I don't think he was.
Yeah, but I get just as pissy when you talk about Colorado. Like there's something. Because they're not.
It was a team that, if you want to talk about that 2023 Colorado team, and I don't want to give them a whole lot of air because they're not worth it. That's right. They're not worth it, Dion.
That is
They're not going to have the top 2 draft picks next year, Dion. But they're coming in so much. What I think after they beat us, they were like the 22nd ranked team in the country or something like that. Look, I said it. John, actually, I take it back. John, you said it. You're like, I think at the end of the season, we're going to have a better record. And we did.
Yeah.
So I like this because Fred is giving me where I want to find. Yeah. So Fred first says Greg got best ever catfish. This is why I'm just a panelist. And then said, "Aw shit, Minnie moving from panelist to full blown co-host."
Yes. And I made myself that just now.
Yeah. Well, that's all good. Welcome aboard.
All
right. So many Michael Corcoran's book is on Amazon. It doesn't have this cover, it's a different cover, but you can look it up. And then next week I'll give you a different book to read.
You can give me books. It's the off season. I need books to read. We all do.
Well,
It's our reading assignment.
This is the one for this week. The game of the
Okay.
century, 1971, Nebraska, Oklahoma. And you remind me next week, I'll have a different one.
Real quick, you know, I was looking, I love anything like vintage, old paraphernalia. And I was looking up
That's why you like John. Doesn't
that's why
explain
I
Dylan
like
very
John
much,
so
but
much. I was looking up old Nebraska Cornhusker football team photos, and I came across the one from 1913. And I should have sent it to you guys. I didn't know I was going to talk about it, but it is so great. There's literally only 13 players on the team, okay? And half the team is like lounging in the front. It made me think of John and how he's doing these history videos and how much everything has evolved.
It certainly has.
Great picture, though. I just love how everyone's like lounging on the floor. That's the official team photo.
that's what we need, John. At the spring game and the baseball weekend for coordination to do like a group photo, just lounging.
Well, you know, if people show up, we'll see what we can do with that.
Well, I'm sorry that I will not be able to be there.
We'll cut and paste you in there
That's fine.
with long hair and a cowboy hat.
I like it. That way, I too can look as awesome as this guy.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's peak. That's peak, John.
Who are the two actors on the far right? Why don't I know them?
That's a really good question.
They were killed early.
I don't think
Is
that's the
that
case.
why? So we could superimpose Greg's face.
That's really
on
not
one of them.
necessary.
I'm one of the unknown guys because he'll be killed early.
Poor Greg.
That's we don't need to go that far. I'm trying to figure out which one they I think they copy your face over Dermot Mulrooney.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that now.
We'll find out. Well, we're gonna find out in a week.
We're past
2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is next week. Yeah, it's the first. Yeah, my bad.
Yep.
All right, John. Sorry, we kept you up late.
Yeah.
I'm a horrible human being. I
You
don't know
are.
how to... Thank you for agreeing with me. It's good that I have some.
You know, John, it's partly your fault because you did do like a 10-minute rant on music. Just saying.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Hey, next
I
time,
was coaxed into it.
next time, keep your Dr. Demento locked up.
What? How can I share my wisdom with the world if I just don't mention it?
I don't know. David Matney wants to know, why is there a Michigan emoji in the channel members list of special emojis? I want to file a protest. And we can't see it in the chat, so I don't know. But...
No, we can't. I'll go look at that.
There's a Michigan and an Iowa
Oh,
emoji.
I'm right there with Fred. Ick. That's a red flag right there.
Okay.
So, all right. It's time to go. We appreciate all of you. We truly, gosh, we have so much fun doing this show. And we're grateful that John was feeling well enough in his old age to be with us again. And next week he'll have the robe. He'll have a little pipe. Maybe I mean, if you're going to go full Hugh, you got to go full Hugh.
Oh, he didn't have a pipe. Don't look it up.
We're
done.
I think he did. I think he did.
Just we're moving on. We'll look it up for next week.
Yeah. All right. That is it for this episode of the Five Heart Podcast. Again, for all of you who join us live, God bless you. We appreciate the fact that you don't read. Because if you found books, we wouldn't have an audience. But thank you all so much for being with us, for tuning in. As always, you're the best. And we talk about all the time, what a great community that we have here. So for our founder, our fearless leader, our captain, John Dam Johnston, for our newest recruit, our Tennille, Captain Tennille, anyway, Mini Hunt, and true full co-host, not just panelist. I am your lowly podcast servant, panelist. Greg Mahochko.
Yeah.
Thank you all. We remind you each and every week that 5 Heart is all the heart you need. John?
Yes, we have no bananas. Go Big Red.
Minnie?
Yay, let's kick some butt. Men's basketball, let's kick some butt. Woo!
Yep.